You're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio podcast. We're going to kick it off with our morning show. And again, we're bringing you the hot tracks that are coming across, and we're going to bring that to you by SoundClick. Everything's kicking off today. We're going to start it off. This is Lexi Banks and Lose You. Okay, so for all of you artists out there, young and up and coming, you got SoundClick, where if you're looking for a track, the beat, they got something for you over there. All you got to do is go to soundclick.com. And here's what we got, man. Money Mike doesn't know music, but what I do know is the beat. So let's get it in. Let's start it off. What's going on today? Well, if you look at the market today, you got the Dow Jones as everybody's moving around in a negative. Obviously, as currently as we speak, we got the Dow's down 145. S&P 500's coming down negative 24.6. It's minor percentage, almost 0.5%. NASDAQ is moving down 130, about 8.82%. You got the Russells down also, so we're down across the board, and then you got the crude oil. Money Mike always follows the WTI for those of you who do not follow the oil and the oil prices. Anytime you want to know what the oil's going to be, you can always tune in to CNN Money, watch the WTI pricing, and that'll tell you whether your gas is going up or your gas is going down. But the truth is, we've got a major clash that's coming. It's a battle between the digital currency and the dollar. And what everybody is doing, you've got to stack it up against the U.S. And what that means is they're stacking up due to the fact that they're going to put pressure on the dollar. And they're dumping the treasuries. And what does that mean? If they're dumping the treasuries, that means that we're going to be going into a higher interest rate. You're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio podcast. As you know, we cover enterprise business. So, folks, as you got Trump and Biden, I'll tell you something here. I'm not too worried about Donald Trump at all. And let me tell you why I'm not worried about Donald Trump. Because at the end of the day, I know this for sure, that Donald Trump is got a lot of things going on. But I've lived long enough in history to know I've been through, Richard Nixon, Lyndon B. Johnson, went through Reaganomics, been through George Bush, and been through also George Bush's son. So I've seen the best of the best as far as the Republican and what's going to happen. And I could bring it forward to you folks and just really tell you that what you got going on now is a situation that's going to hamper everybody, because here's what you got. They're going to put pressure on the dollar. It's going to raise the interest rates. When the interest rates go up, everything's going to change. And that's what I'm talking about. So, Miss Lexi Banks, we got you going, and that interest rate's going to go up, and it's going to cause all the banks. There's a lot of pressure on the banks. The banks have got pressure because of the fact that they don't understand what's going on and what direction it's going to go. Because if they're jumping treasuries, interest rate goes up, nobody's going to be able to afford the corporate payroll. We're not going to stay in the finance too long. We wanted to give you that right away. We'll jump right to the NBA, obviously. Damian Lillard took it home with the All-Star game. I mean, we got, 200 points in an All-Star game. There's no doubt about it. I think Milwaukee's going to figure it out in the second half. It's the NBA. It's time for everybody to play. And that's what happens once the All-Star break gets done. Everybody kind of settles back in and says, okay, what's going to be our positioning point? So Dame Lillard took it home. LeBron talked about a little bit about it's coming to an end. And folks, for LeBron James and Bronny James, I'll tell you what, I think Bronny James is an excellent pro. And here's why I think Bronny James is an excellent pro, is because of the fact that Bronny James, if I looked at him at USC, that's a college game. You're running in a system. Bronny has been trained to play in the NBA. And if you look at Bronny play, the way he spots up, shoot, I mean, he's just about the same as looking at J.J. Redick. I mean, there's no difference. So Bronny's going to have a career in the NBA. I don't know why everybody's picking and choosing. He's following the coach's decision. And that's what he's supposed to do. So we're going to keep on doing what we're doing. You're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. It's the morning show. And the morning show is going to give you the music promotion of the hot tracks. And right now, you're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. We're going to move it along. We got another one coming to you. We're going to find our way. There's such good stuff going out. So sit back, relax. We just wanted to get you going. And next up, we got a nice one for you. This one's coming to you by Sample Type Beats. And this one here is Universe. And this one here is something Money Mike really fell into, really liked. So sit back, relax. Those of you who are getting up this morning, getting going. We got what you need, and we're going to do what you need us to do. You're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. You're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. We're bringing it to you. We're doing it the way it's supposed to be done. We're finding our lane. You know, folks, when you get on the interstates, and I'm always talking to my interstate people, we always try to get in the right lane. So those of you down in Texas on the I-2, tune in and listen to the Money Mike Syndicated Podcast. If you're down in Tampa, Florida, and you're on the I-4, all you got to do is tune in to the Money Mike Syndicated Podcast. And of course, all of you that are down in Blaine, Washington, all the way down on the border side, you got the I-5. I-5 will take you all the way through Portland, Oregon, get you through Redding, and head you on down to the Sacramento. That's the capital of California. Before you hit on down to the 80 West and take you to the Bay. So if you're doing all that this morning, I need you to tune in to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. And this is Universe, Sample Type Beats, bringing it to you from SoundClick. All the up-and-coming artists, we're going to keep on lifting you higher and higher. Because we know you're getting better and better, you're doing your thing, and Money Mike doesn't know music, but he knows a track. And this is what I hear, and I'm going to give you the best of the best. And for all you up-and-coming artists, you jump on SoundClick, go over there and find you a beat that's going to fit your tone. And that's what it's all about. We grow millionaires. All things are possible to those who believe. You're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. We're bringing it to you. We're letting it go. We're going to jump on over to Yaga Beats. And this is one that I kind of became fond of. And it's Yaga Beats. They're putting it down. You can jump on in and SoundClick. And for those of you who got your bars together and know what to do, you jump on over to SoundClick. And this is Yaga Beats bringing it to you. Sit back, relax, open up the eardrums, and let the music do what it do. You're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. You're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. We're bringing you the hot tracks, the Money Mike's music promotion, and we're always going to bring it to you for all of you up-and-coming artists. Go on over there to SoundClick, pick you up something that you like, and put your groove and let it flow. That's what we do. We're going to keep on getting our lane, and as we said before, we got NBA breaking news coming down the pike. Look like Jock Vaughn's going to be out in the Brooklyn Nets. No doubt about it. My boy Matt McClung. You know what, Matt McClung, you got my guy Jaylen Brown. But Matt McClung's a hooper. He's been a hooper for a while. Everything he can do, they want him in the NBA. Only problem is Matt is a little small. He's a little defensive, but he belongs there. Back-to-back dunk contest. So that's what's happening out there. You're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. And half the time, folks, when you look at it, a lot of times it's not the player that how they get in the NBA. It's most of the time it's the situation. And when you get the situation kind of works out for you, then everything kind of comes together. So I'm always hoping and reaching for Matt McClung, man. I've been watching that guy. He's been hooping for a while. So we're going to keep it pushing and keep it rolling. We're going to get to you. This is Contrabands. And Contrabands is sitting it in. They got a special if you get on over to SoundClick. Contraband say if you buy one, you'll get 3 free. So jump on in. SoundClick, you got a beat for you. Here we go. And to all my good people that are traveling in this morning, we want to put you on if you're down there in San Diego on the I-8. Tune in to the Money Mike Syndicated Podcast. Santa Monica, we know you got the 10. I understand you. Just sit back, relax. I know it's busy, but tune in to the Money Mike Syndicated Podcast. Oh yeah, Boulder City. That's down there with the I-11. Oh yeah. I know about Boulder City. All right, so you guys get a chance. I know the weather's up and down, but you need to tune in to the Money Mike Syndicated Podcast. And for your college hoopers out there, Rick Pitino, he's never happy. Rick Pitino says he's got the most unathletic team he's ever seen. It's getting ready to get close to tournament time, and I'm looking to see all these superstar coaches, Rick Pitino, what they're going to do. Kim Mulkey over there at LSU was a national champion last year. I think Kim Mulkey's dropped down to about 13th. Took a licking from South Carolina. I think South Carolina going to do what it's got to be done, but folks, March Madness, we never know. That's the fun part about it. You just kind of get it in when you can. And top-ranked UConn, boy, they ain't going to stop. They got over Mike Marquette, 81-53. Oh, Shaka Smart, man, I know that Marquette, he'll be back. So it's going to be a run. And, folks, I told you, heard it from me, Money Mike here first, is I believe Shaka Smart can go ahead and win a national championship. And when I tell you that, folks, the reason I'm telling you that is because I know a connection to Shaka, and that's my best buddy, my best friend from Chico State University, Dr. Thomas Reed. So, Dr. Thomas Reed, let's go ahead and get it, Shaka, that national. They're going to put the X's and O's together. They'll be back. You understand it. But that was now, and then you got to go play it again. Remember UNLV and Duke? Blew them out one year, came back the next. Is a different ball game. So they're hooping it up. Everything's going. Number 3, Houston holds off Texas, 82-61. Alabama shoots the lights out, drops 100. Got over Texas A&M. So, and we got to always keep one of our former Kansas stars. We're going to keep him in prayer, Scott Pollard, undergoing a heart transplant. So we got a lot of things that, God, that we can be thankful for. We know all things are possible to those who believe. And this is Money Mike. We're getting in a different lane. You got the slow lane, you got the carpool, and then you got the Money Mike's lane. And that's what we do. We keep it going. We're going to move where we're supposed to move, and we're going to do what we're supposed to do. And at the end of the day, this is what I believe, that you have been chosen and you have been God gifted. And when that happens, you're going to come on out and do what you got to do. You'll be built for it. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. I love every bit of it. Each and every day I'm thankful. But we gonna love just like anybody else. It's the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. When you're rolling down, I know you're going to the ATL. I know you got to take the 85 South and ride on up in there. But what I need you to do down there in North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina, as you're heading down there, go ahead and tune in to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. That's what we do, and we keep getting better and better and better. We don't get any easier, but we're going to do it, and we're going to pick the lane. That's what it's all about. Contrabands. Click it in, and you'll see what you got. We're going to keep it pushing, folks. We just believe in letting it happen. And sometimes you got to just turn it loose. And that's what we're doing. We got the NBA. I got my money on the Lakers. All right. And we got the Golden Days. We're going to bring this to you. This is a hot track here, folks. This is one of the ones I like because they getting it in. And I know you got the Warriors trying to get it together and the Kings. I think LeBron going to take it down. I don't got no problems with that, but that's the way it's going to go. So we're doing what we got to do. And we're loving every bit of it. Like I said, how are we going to figure it out? I don't know. But we're going to keep doing what we're doing. I saw a little NFL news. I followed the NFL, and I see that David Tepper has invested nearly $141 million in ultra-high yield dividend stock. And, we can always follow David Tepper around. He's worth $20 billion, NFL owner of the Carolina Panthers. So, folks, it's all tied in with the Money Mike because I follow the money flow. So when you ride with me, if you jump in the Money Mike car, we're going to be talking corporate enterprise business. I want to understand how your revenue stream is created. So when David Tepper makes a move, I tell you, folks, I don't give any advice. But I'll tell you, go ahead and dig in and follow it. Because he's got to make people money. That's how he ended up buying the Carolina Panthers. So a lot of these guys, they don't mind telling you what they're doing. It's just whether or not they pick the right horse. And Money Mike, like I told you, I'm like Secretariat. Just a thoroughbred. I always come from the back of the pack. I like everyone else to get on out there and feel comfortable. And after that, I'm coming on in. And you know what? I'm going to do it just like this, the Golden Days. We're going to come on in. We're going to take you at the quarter pole by the time we get to the half mark. And you know what? We're going to ride on down. We're going to coast and drag, okay? So like Ronnie Turcotte did, man, he took that horse Secretary and he ran him as hard as he could. And they used to say in military, make the horse heart burst. But he knew he didn't have to whip the horse. See, everybody, y'all been taking too many whippings. Y'all been letting the enemy get you down. Money Mike's going to change that for you because that's what I do. Okay, we're going to take it from the mental health to the mental wealth. And that's what you got to do, and that's what I'm talking about. When I talk about taking from the mental health to the mental wealth, that just means you got so many things going on in your mind right now that you're trying to figure out what direction you want to go. Well, just chart them out and take your steps, because that's what it is. Money Mike got rid of the mental health. I deal with it every day, but I turn it into mental wealth. Each and every day I'm thankful for what he has done for me. And he's brought me a mighty long way. And for those of you who know, he won't take you this far to leave you. And we understand all things are possible to those who believe. So you're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. And we love you. We're going to keep on doing it. We thank you for the voice that you have given us. We thank you to all the subscribers. We're going to keep pushing harder and harder because we know you need more. And that's what the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast is here to bring you what you need. So to my good people out there, good people, sister, I know some of you are down there and you're in Mississippi on the I-22. If you are, I need you to tune in to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. Come on now. Down there in Illinois, Polly Mill on the I-24. Can I get y'all to tune in to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast? And I ain't gonna forget about Kingsport, Tennessee. Can't do it on the I-26. Come on now. Oh, and for those of you who are headed down to the US 17 going into Charleston, come on now, work with me. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. And we got the Golden Days bringing you the track right now. And we're getting it in. We're pushing it through SoundClick for all you up-and-coming artists who you don't have a track, you need a track, you need something to get a hold to. I'm right here for you. This is the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. We promised you we would get up with you each and every morning, and that's what we're going to do. And don't worry about it. You can put your coffee on. Some of you got to put your bacon on. Some of you going to jump on the treadmill, and some of you going to go out there and you're ready to work out. I'm with you. I ain't going to stop you because I understand that you got to do what you got to do, and that's the way the world goes. So you're listening to it. But we're going to get better and better because we understand that at the end of the day, we believe in a replay. And we're going to close it up with this replay because it's, I don't want to lose ya. And we're going to bring it to you. This is Lexi Banks, and she's putting it down. And this is called the replay. We're going to close it up with this. And we love you. We got you going. And ain't nothing going to change. You're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. You just keep on tuning in. You keep on doing what you're doing. We gonna keep on doing what we doing. Together we gonna get better, and then we gonna go higher. We gonna reach levels that you didn't think you could make. And Money Mike believes in growing millionaires through the corporate enterprise business. We believe in B2B. That's called business to business. And we understand some of you like to have the brick and mortar. You like to have the store. And all you thrift store owners keep on doing, keep finding what you're finding. There's gold in the treasure. And that's what we do. So we're getting ready to wrap up. It's been a beautiful morning. And you know what? Sometimes we just forget to say thank you. And to the one of the greatest one, I'll tell you my closing one, and you'll hear me say this a lot now, to the late and the great African-American Mr. Harvey Livingston from AT&T that passed away. One of the things Harvey always told me when it comes to corporate enterprise business, you lose a second, you lost a minute. If you lose a minute, then you've lost an hour. If you lose an hour, then you've lost a day. And if you lost a day, you lost a month. And if you lost a month, you lost a year. That came from Harvey Livingston, AT&T, African-American, was a director. And man, he was a sharp man. And I'll repeat that to you because I always want you to know that Harvey said something that's so important. So here's what he meant. If you lose a second, if I waste a second or get distracted, then I'm going to lose a minute. If I have somebody distract me for a minute, then I'm going to lose an hour. And if somebody takes me off my train of thought for an hour, I'm going to lose a day. And if somebody takes me away for a day, I'm going to lose a month. And if somebody takes me away for a month, then guess what, folks? I've lost the entire year. You're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. We're going to give you everything you need to grow to be a millionaire. We got some great ones out there. And we know the Coach's Corner is doing its thing. That's my guy, Big Paul Nunn. We see you, Big Paul. And we know the diabetic diva is out there. Boy, she just running wild, that diabetic diva. But, that's what it is. She's a superstar. She can run, and then we got the beauty designer. We got Miss Whitney. Man, we got some things going down that y'all just don't know. But it's the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. And I'm always going to say hello to Mr. Cooper out there. For those of you in Chico, California, you know about Tim Cooper. Oh, Tim Cooper in the mortgage business for all of your mortgage needs. I'm going to come back with that. I'm going to speak with Coop, and we're going to say how we get in contact with him. Because when the rates are rising, Cooper's your friend. Okay, he can get you the mortgage you need. He's been doing it for a long time, and here's a little thing I'll tell you. He was also the shortstop, played right behind Derek Jeter. Couldn't get the crack through with the Yankees. They took him. Okay, got him up to Double-A, but they told him we ain't moving, and then they brought in Rodriguez. But Tim Cooper, man, that's a heck of a man. That's a man with a purpose. So there's a lot of good people out there. I'm just kind of walking you through my life. But you're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. So we're going to wrap it up. We'll see you tomorrow. And remember, you are who you are. You do what you do. But all things are possible to those who believe. And we're going to keep on doing it better and better. But this is what I want to tell you. Nobody does it better than you. You're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast.